Hello everyone, this is part 1 of What If Naruto Was Betrayed and Broken. This story is made by cloudstirferk, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. This story starts after Orochimaru is killed by Sasuke. Team Hebi exist and Uchiha Itachi is killed shortly after. It then goes from there. Somewhere in High no Kuni. Damn, where's that Naruto? Shouted Sakura. Fighting Sasuke. Please calm down Sakura, Sai replied. Don't tell me to calm down Sai. You know perfectly well that they'll kill each other. Ever since Naruto came back from his almost 3 years training with Jiraiya, Sakura had been closer to Naruto. She felt extremely protective of him, especially after finding out about Kyuubi. He was now kind of like a little brother to her, but he was still annoying at times though. Sakura, it's okay. Naruto won't kill Sasuke, Kakashi assured. Then what if Sasuke kill Naruto? I can't let that happen, Kakashi sensed. Sakura was short as they all suddenly felt a huge demonic chakra blast. Naruto. All of them thought simultaneously. Wordlessly, they sprinted forward as fast as possible towards the origin of the chakra blast. A short while later, they came into a clearing. It was a disaster. Snapping out of her shock, Sakura moved forward wordlessly to check on Sasuke's condition. She started to stop the Raven's Bee and also healing critical wounds. Working professionally with precision and grace, no one could guess what was going on in her mind. Inside, however, Sakura and inner Sakura were fighting for dominance. How is he? Breaking the awkward silence. Quote, what happened? She added as an afterthought. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. It's just he. Naruto's panicky voice was drowned out as an irate Sakura, inner Sakura finally winning the battle, shouted. Didn't mean to do what? Kill him. And Kakashi-sensei was assuring me that you wouldn't. I even ventured on the thought of Sasuke-kun kill you. And now this. What was that chakra blast for? Added power to kill Sasuke-kun. I don't understand you, Naruto. How can you claim that you cared for Sasuke-kun when you intend to kill him? And you call him your brother. How could you? That's enough, Sakura. But Kakashi-sensei. I said that's enough. Kakashi interjected warningly, casting a glance at Naruto's expression. He was shocked, so to say. That calm demeanor was not suited for Naruto. He nearly flinched, as that glowing gaze locked with his for a moment, and he found himself looking into mirrors, the blonde's gaze flat and lifeless. Hi, she answered stiffly as she continued working on Sasuke's wounds. Where's the rest of Team Hebi? A cold, tonelessly flat voice inquired. If Kakashi was not looking at the blonde the moment that voice spoke, he wouldn't have believed that it came from Naruto. Back there, answered Sai while pointing back the way they came from, looking curiously at Naruto's display of emotions, or rather the lack of it. Yes. Should I go get them with my toads? Then we can travel back to Konoha immediately after Sasuke's wounds are stabilized, his voice calm, level, utterly emotionless. Sure. Sai go with him. Hi, they both answered. Silence reigned supreme after both the boys sped off. Sakura, you should apologize. It may not have happened the way you thought it did. You should know better than anyone that Naruto is exceedingly sensitive to other people's emotions and words, Kakashi reprimanded. The Junin then fell silent as he allowed the Kunoichi to think about what he just said. On the way to Konoha. Silence was hanging thickly in the air as Team 7 proceeded swiftly towards Konoha. All the Kunoichi could hear was the occasional rustling of leaves as well as the not-so-discreet sound made by a leaping toad. She was still trying to catch the blonde's eyes, but he seemed to be avoiding her and instead opted to travel a little ahead of the group standing steadily atop the toad's head. Inside, she was berating herself for letting inner Sakura win. Oh Kami-sama, what have I done? Kakashi-sensei was right. I should have known better than to have said those words. But he almost killed Sasuke-kun. Well, like Kakashi-sensei said, it may not have happened the way you thought it did. So maybe I was mistaken. He wasn't injured in any way. I'm sure you noticed. Of course I did. If you did then I should have. Besides, he heals fast. Maybe he did get injured but healed before I got here. I noticed, of course. You and me. In a way, okay, I'm officially insane. I'm talking to myself, stupid me. Okay, now to apologize, I better do it right now, I guess. Yosh. Remember to find out what happened. Inner Sakura shouted as Sakura pushed her back into her mind. Just as Sakura was speeding up her pace to match Naruto's, she felt strong chakra signature traveling towards them. Team 7 fell into defense mode immediately, bracing for an attack. Moments later, however, they relaxed as a team of Konoha's Anbu appeared through the trees. Expecting help, Kakashi was about to speak when a cat-masked Anbu spoke with a tone of authority. Uzumaki Naruto, you are now under arrest by orders of the Godime Hokage, Tsunade-sama, for attempted release of the Kyuubi no Yuko. You will come with us willingly or we will be apprehending you by force. Kakashi, Sakura and Sai were shocked beyond words. The same thought crossed their minds. Attempted release of the Kyuubi. They mean that Chakra Blast was, oh my god. Naruto, however, whispered something inaudible to the toad he was standing on and ensued to jump of said toad, gracefully landing few feet in front of the Anbu with his wrist held in front of him, submitting himself for arrest without even protesting. Everyone in the vicinity was beyond shocked. You would have been if the infamous loudmouth, obnoxious, number 1 unpredictable ninja had just surrendered. Well, he still held the unpredictable lure as no one, living or could have predicted this to happen. Snapping out of the beyond shock state, the Anbu placed chakra restraining shackles securely on the blonde's wrist before the cat-masked Anbu indicated the rest of them should follow them as well. Back in Konoha, there was a state of panic in Konoha. The chakra blast was not only noticed by the ninjas, apparently civilians who survived the Kyuubi's attack felt and recognized the strong K intent in the chakra blast. Most of them fell into panic, for they were sure Kyuubi was once again free and was going to attack Konoha for revenge on his imprisonment by the Yondaime Hokage and the Kyuubi brat. When Team 7 finally arrived in tow of the Anbu squad, ninjas and civilians alike started to throw glares and insults at who they thought was the perpetrator, as they walked through Konoha's main gate. Whispers of insults and damnation that were usually thrown about in Naruto presence were no longer there, instead loud shouts and screams of his evil ways and intentions were hanging in the air. The S-class nature of Naruto's secret no longer mattered. Apprehensive looks from the rest of the Rookie 9 and Team Guy could be seen lurking in between enraged villager and vengeful shinobis. They found out in the worst way possible. Now it's up to them to either believe in Naruto or shun him, the Junin muttered as he noticed them. He was trying to get a good look at Naruto's face ever since stepping foot in Konoha. All he got was a quick glance or two. Contrary to his usual smiling, pouting or frowning expressions, a blank-looking calm demeanor was the only expression the copy nin could see on the younger boy's face. The effect was eerie. He looked so much older than a boy of 16 years of age. Although Naruto looked calm outside, inside of him mind was a mess. Negative thoughts were flying through his head and Kyuubi was not helping. They hate me. I knew this would happen. They don't believe in me. Even my friends don't. Are they still my friends? Maybe what he said was true. They'll never accept me for who I am, even Sakura. I thought she did. Maybe for a while she did. I guess I'm just a demon. It's useless. I guess Neji was right too. I really can't change my fate. I'll never be Hokage. Then escape. I'll train you. Give you power to K all of them. Kyuubi snickered evilly at the thought of being able to gain revenge. Never. I'll never be able to hurt them, no matter how much they hurt me, Naruto said, terrified at the vision of Kyuubi was projecting. Foolish human. You and your sentiments. It's a shame that I, the great Kyuubi no Yuko, was sealed in a sentimental human. The next time I gain control of your body, do not expect me to give it up so easily. I will ensure your survival, no matter what. I resent S in the hands of imprudent old fools who only care about their own benefit. Bellowed the kitsune. Give it up. As if I will allow you to gain control. You will never succeed in hurting my friends and Konoha. Naruto retorted. We shall see, human. We shall see, Kyuubi threatened before retreating back into recesses of Naruto's mind. The Anbu team suddenly halted and moved toward Konoha's holding cells, presumably to lock up Naruto. Team 7 hovered uncertainly hoping to get a glance from Naruto or even a word. All they got was a good look at the blonde's back as he left Team 7 to deal with Sasuke. Sakura, take Sasuke to the hospital. Sai, go with her. I'm going to find out what happened and also hand in the mission report. Yeah, Kakashi instructed before disappearing in a puff of smoke and leaves. In the Hokage's office, Tsunade was pacing up and down her office as she awaited the arrival of Jiraiya. She summoned for him as soon as she felt the demonic chakra blast. It wouldn't take long for him to arrive. He must have felt the chakra blast too. She was sure he would rush back to Konoha if he felt it. Unless he was too busy peeping at girls in the hot springs to notice. She stopped her train of thought and her pacing when there was a knock on the door. Yes, who is it? She asked eagerly. Hatake Kakashi is here to see you, Hokage-sama, the Anbu guard announced. Let him in, the Sannin said, unable to hide the disappointment in her voice. Well, he was with Naruto at that time. This means Naruto is back. Maybe he knows something. Let's just hope he does. I'm not in a good mood today. The stupid council will be bugging me now that Naruto is back in Konoha. Damn those old farts. Hokage-sama, here's the mission report. Sasuke is now in Konoha hospital recovering. Kakashi handed in a hastily written scroll. What happened? Why was there such a huge chakra blast? The blonde-haired woman questioned, totally ignoring Sasuke's return to Konoha. Before Kakashi could answer, the door burst open, revealing a travel-worn Jiraiya. I got here as soon as possible. What happened? Was that Naruto? Yes, that was Naruto, and Kakashi here is going to tell us what happened. Tsunade gestured for the copy nin to continue. Nodding to Jiraiya, Kakashi said, to tell you the truth, I don't know. Me, Sakura and Sai, were looking for Naruto and Sasuke. We were separated in the fight. Then we suddenly felt it. By time we got there, all we could see was a demonic-looking Naruto standing over Uchiha Sasuke who was heavily injured. I assume that Sasuke was injured by the blast. But what happened to cause it? I do not know. This is bad. The council has been finding faults on Naruto for years in order to eliminate him. This is a good opportunity for them, Tsunade confessed. Kakashi was taken aback by this revelation. Then, should I lie? He blurted out before he could stop himself. Stupid thought, he chastised himself. You know very well you can't. Don't even think of doing it, Jiraiya warned him. You're worried, the Sennin then added with a softer tone, after seeing the look in the Junin's eyes. They told a story of concern, fear, and guilt. We are all worried, the Junin replied softly. They all fell silent as they were trapped in their own thoughts of this troublesome matter. Another knock on the door broke the silence. What is it this time? The female Sannin sounded very irritated. The council, Hokage-sama. Their representative wishes to speak to you. Damn, those old farts are quick for their old age. Kakashi. Jiraiya. Out the window now. Stay close. Hide your chakra, she whispered. Let them in, she then ordered. The door opened and Homura and Koharu strutted in. She looked at them with disgust, but was quick to hide her expressions as they got closer. The demon brat is back. The Anbus we sent under your order found him. He is now in one of the high-security holding cell. Homura said. The council demands a trial for the demon brat's fate. You, of course, will be present. A vote shall be put in as well, Tsunade, stated Koharu. How dare you send the Anbus out to get Naruto without my knowledge? I'll let you off easy this time. Do not ever do that again. You will stop referring Naruto as the demon brat, and, yes, I agree a trial will be held. I will, of course, be there with Jiraiya. The clan heads will also be present. This will be a fair trial. All factors will be considered in the vote. Of course it will be fair. What do you think of us? This, of course, rendered Tsunade speechless. She would love to tell them what she thought of them, but none of them were appropriate for their rotting ears. I think clan heads shouldn't be present. This does not cons. This concerns them. They will be present and that is final, she fumed. The Sannin was hoping to get some support from the clan heads in assuring Naruto's survival. She knew some of them thought highly of the blonde, and was hoping that with their support an E would not be Naruto's fate. Fine then. The trial will be held today. We need to get this over with. See you at 6 p.m. Tsunade, Koharu said. After the two old vultures left, Tsunade said, you heard, didn't you? Go inform all the clan heads, Kakashi. Jiraiya, we need to talk. Kakashi disappear in the usual puff of smoke as Jiraiya hopped back into the Hokage's office. Only Sasuke knows what happened. I should go take a look at him. We can interrogate him if he doesn't want to talk, the female Sannin reasoned. Let's just hope the council won't interfere with this, Jiraiya said as both the remaining Sannin headed off to Konoha Hospital. Konoha Hospital, South Wing, Shinobi's wing. Finally, after an hour of gruesome healing and operation to set back the broken bones and ribs, Sakura was sitting down in the lounge having a cup of coffee. She sent Sai back when they got to the hospital. Having him around, looking at her work, made her uncomfortable. She could never comprehend his thoughts and thus this made her extra cautious and alert, which was not good when she needed to concentrate on keeping an even chakra flow. Her mind drifted off to the next urgent subject, Naruto. I never got the chance to apologize. Damn it, I could visit him. But I doubt they'll let me in. Just as she was contemplating a way to persuade Tsunade Shisu to let her visit Naruto, a shadow of movement flitted across the open doorway of the lounge. Sensing her Shisu as well as the toad hermit, Jiraiya, a damn pervert more like it, she rushed out, coffee and evil, plans forgotten, getting the feeling that this would be big. Upon arrival at Sasuke's room door, the two usually bickering pair were working together and intimidating the medic enough to let them in. You can't interrogate him. He's still unconscious. No matter how persistent the medic was, the combined power of two legendary Sannin giving him death glares were enough to make him cower in fear. But still, you had to give him credit. He was still trying to refuse them entry, but failing miserably. It's okay, Hatsuto, let them in. I'll keep an eye on 'em, okay. She was trying to get him to back off before Tsunade decided to hit him with her super strength. But, okay. Finally cracking under the sheer pressure of the glares, he hurried off like a scurrying hamster. It's for Naruto, the pink-haired girl queried, finally catching on to the reason why both Tsunade and Jiraiya were here. Yes. Are you coming in, Sakura? Hi. Thank you, Shisu. She was grateful for being given a chance to find out what happened. Using a medic jutsu to force consciousness onto him, the three of them waited for the Uchiha to awaken. A grimace could be seen on his marble pale face even before his eyes are open, indicating that the pain was still quite bad. Black orbs peered through heavy eyelids, looking at his visitors apprehensively, wondering what fate would befall him now that he was in their hands. What happened to Naruto? Tsunade spoke. All they got in response was a questioning gaze. The chakra blast when you were fighting with him. If you do not answer, I will send you to Ibiki Morino for further interrogation. Her feminine voice filled with menace. They are desperate. Naruto must be in deep trouble. Or else they wouldn't be so panicky. I could gain something from this, he considered, thanking his abilities to read emotions like a book. What do I get if I tell you? The Raven answered. You are not in a position to bargain with us, brat. The Hokage could have UT before EU, Jiraiya threatened, his patience running thin. Then so be it, the Raven's clear voice rang loudly, an unspoken threat hanging thickly in the air. If I S, no one will know what happened. Then Naruto would S too. We'll just force it out of you then. Sasuke was stunned. The Sakura he knew would never have said those words. People change, I guess, he reasoned while sending him a, try it if you think you can, glare. Infuriated, Tsunade and Jiraiya stormed out of the room simultaneously, without any communication of any form at all, leaving a half-amused, half-nervous Sakura. She was lost in her mind as she thought how amusing it was for the two Sannin to bicker all the time, disagreeing on almost everything, and yet they were still able to work together in perfect synchrony at times of need. Almost like me and Naruto, not really though I still don't really understand him. We do argue a lot but our time of working together was short. We did make a good team against Kakashi-sensei during the second bell test. Lost in her thoughts, she barely noticed the Uchiha's presence, causing uneasiness in said boy. He was about to make a comment, although it was unusual of him to do that. However, the appearance of the two Sannin disrupted his plan. If you tell, and pray that what you tell me is true and will be of assistance, you will be granted protection from banishment and lifelong imprisonment. I will consider reinstating you as a shinobi as well, the Lady Hokage offered. So, what say you? Very well, he said, pausing a moment before continuing. We fought. I K him. He was S, for a moment. Then a sudden blast of chakra and he was alive again. I was caught off guard when it happened and got blasted off in the opposite direction. I saw him, before I passed out, Sasuke narrated, sounding bored. What did he look like? Jiraiya said, speaking for the first time ever since stepping back into the room. A demonic-looking fox. Thank you. Your statement will be examined and your actions of him will not go unpunished, Uchiha. You are somehow the cause of this. Sakura, put him back to sleep, ordered Tsunade with her icy cold voice that sent shivers down the raven's spine before leaving in a rush with Jiraiya. In the courtroom, after 5 hours of debating, Uzumaki Naruto, you are hereby, henceforth, exiled to Outpost 72. You shall serve your lifelong sentence there. If you are somehow or rather found within 20 miles of Konoha without written approval by the Hokage, signed by at least 10 members of the council or clan heads, and at least 5 from the council, you will be immediately without trial. You will not communicate with Konoha's shinobi in any way or form unless they or you have approval from the Hokage or the council. If you break this rule you will be immediately without trial. Do you understand all this, Uzumaki Naruto? Homura's gleeful voice echoed in the courtroom. Hi, Wakarimashita. Naruto's voice was eerily flat and unconcerned, especially with his cruel fate so clearly laid before him. Good. The sentence will be carried out immediately. You, Uzumaki Naruto, are to leave Konoha in 1 hour. Dismissed. Koharu was slightly taken aback by the demon brat's reaction to the news. She was expecting him to throw a fit or something. This thought was quickly dismissed as she started to celebrate the council's success of almost getting rid of the QB brat. Now all they had to do was wait for him to cross the line. Streets of Konoha. The citizens of Konoha could be seen celebrating around every corner with parties and a lot of sake. There were, however, a few who had held respect and acknowledgement for the hyperactive blonde ninja and who were mourning in silence. Rookie 9 and Team Guy could be seen running around in Konoha for the past 20 minutes. They are now all gathered in front of Ichiraku Ramen, the place where the blonde last visited, paying all his tabs at once, according to Chuki, the owner of the blonde favorite ramen store. Where the hell is he? Shouted a frustrated Kiba. He was alarmed at the fact that all of them couldn't find that loudmouth hyperactive ninja. Even with Akamaru on the blonde's trail, it always ended unexpectedly in the middle of nowhere. My bugs can't sense him either. It's like he disappeared. We only have 10 minutes left before he leaves permanently. Someone has to find him, an anxious Sakura said. Ino, who could sense her friend's restlessness, wondered, she is close to breaking down. I wonder why is she affected so badly by this, while trying to calm her best friend down. Byakugan couldn't find him as well, Neji said, and Hinata nodded to his statement. This is not good, Shikamaru muttered. What do you mean by saying, this is not good, in that tone? Chuji asked. This is so troublesome. Haven't you all figured it out yet? Just tell us and stop complaining. Ino said, while hitting Shikamaru on the head. A tie. Troublesome woman. What did you say? The platinum blonde proceeded to hit Shikamaru again only to find out that he had cast Kajime no Jutsu on her. I meant to say he's gone, Ino, he said, making sure she wasn't about to attack him again before releasing the Jutsu. What do you mean by gone? Gone as in he left. Left Konoha. Without saying goodbye. Sakura's now panicky voice was almost ear-piercing. I'm afraid it's true, Sakura, 10-10 said. Then we shall chase after Naruto-kun. After all there is still time. Yosh. Lee said, or rather, shouted. No, I don't think we should do that. After all, if we aren't on time he faces a death penalty. We shouldn't risk that. He had a 30 minutes head start. If this is indeed the last place he visited, Neji rationalized. We give up? Sakura asked. I haven't apologized. I didn't get the chance. He left thinking I hated him. Thinking the rest of us hated him. These thoughts were repeating in her mind like a stuck cassette as tears started to flow down her cheeks. Moments later, she was weeping hysterically. Yes, we give up, Shikamaru answered. She never did hear his reply. Still astounded by the current predicament, Rookie 9 and Team Guy slowly, one by one and by pairs left Ichiraku Ramen. The last place Naruto visited before leaving Konoha. Forever. Shogun's Sake Bar. One more. A female voice resounded through the empty tavern. Dozens of sake bottles littered the bar top. The bartender slouched around grumpily as he fulfilled her order, sulky at the fact that he could not possibly kick the Hokage out of his bar even when she had scared all his customers away by punching one of them through the wall. Stupid demon brat supporting Hokage, he thought testily. I failed him, she wailed to no one in particular. We failed him, Jiraiya corrected. Here, she mumbled. One more. This time the sound belonged to a male. This is going to be a long night, he thought as he handed another sake bottle to the toad hermit. Hyuga compound. Thud. Neji's eyes snapped open at the unexpected sound. Thud. Thud. He opened his window and peered outside to find his teammate Lee getting ready to throw the next stone. He quickly dodged the oncoming projectile before speaking to the guy clone. What are you doing here at 3:30 in the morning? I feel like training. You wanna spar? Your sentence lacked the phrase, the flames of youth. What's wrong? He asked, raising an eyebrow. It's just, I've been thinking, and I want to spar. The usually energetic youth hesitated. So, he added when the Hyuga did not respond. Fine. Neji jumped out of his open window. You weren't sleeping. No, I've been thinking too. Team 8 usual training ground. ARF. What do you mean he's here? Who's here? Kiba gave a jolt when Akamaru suddenly barked. ARF. Shino. No way, you've gotta be kid. Gar. Hi Shino. He greeted him a little too enthusiastically. Akamaru wasn't kidding. Oh sorry, I just didn't expect you to be here in the middle of the night. Silence fell after that comment. Shino seemed to be looking at Kiba. You never knew under those glasses. Why was he wearing them in the middle of the night anyway? You came to train too? Kiba asked, breaking the uncomfortable silence. Not really, I was seeking company. You knew I was coming here. You? How? My Kikai bugs. I tag all of you just in case, the Aberrane provided. You do know that's not exactly civil, don't you? Kiba chided. Yes, I do. And silence fell again. Shikamaru's cloud-watching place. Want some chips? Chuji offered, passing the bag of chips over to the lazy genius. He said while feeling around for the chips. Finding none, he peered into the bag only to find the last chip. He must be out of it, offering me the last chip. Should I take it? I could end up like Jirubo, he mused. This is so troublesome. What the heck? I'll just take it. Sounds of tearing plastic could be heard, as the Akamaki's opening of another bag of chips snapped Shikamaru out of his inner conflict. Accepting that as a cue to just take the last chip, he popped it into his mouth and said, thanks. No problem. Chuji's voice sounding perfectly food-free. Sakura's house. Here, have some tea, dears. It's very kind of you all to be here for Sakura. Thank you. Thanks Haruno-san. She's a little shaken up. So we were worried. Besides, we needed company too, so, Ino trailed off. I understand, dears. I hope it is okay for all of you to be here in Sakura's room. Frankly, I think this room is too small for 4 people. I could get the guest room ready, but you wouldn't want that, would you? No, we wouldn't, Haruno-san. It's kinda late, you should get some rest. We'll be here if Sakura needs anything, Ten said while casting a glance at a sleeping Sakura who had just fallen asleep not long ago, after crying her eyes out. It has been really hard to calm her down. They never figure out why she was reacting so badly, instead assuming that it must be because she was Naruto's teammate. Yes, we'll be here, Haruno-san en, Hinata tried to assure her. Haruno-san cast a fleeting look at the girls before deciding that they would be fine and that she should leave. Okay then, I'll be off. See you in the morning. You are all having breakfast here, right? Yes, Haruno-san. Thank you. Oyasumi, the girls chorused. Oyasumi, she said as she closed the door behind her. Memorial stone. I'm sorry, sensei. Silence fell as Kakashi started his morning ritual a little too early. I could stay here as long as I want. He didn't have any team meeting in the morning anyway. Konoha Hospital. Sasuke blinked blearily at the ceiling as he woke up. It's dark, he noted. How long have I slept? I see you're awake, a familiar calm voice resonated. Who the hell? Aruka. Aruka-sensei. The Raven asked uncertainly. Yes, the same calm voice which was usually filled with enthusiasm or irritation in the academy days said. Why are you here? The boy asked as his former sensei walked out of the shadows, exposing calm and collected features on his scarred face. Naruto's gone. The young shinobi could tell by that phrase, that his former sensei was not as calm as he seemed. They K him. Sasuke fought to keep his voice steady. No. He was exiled. Slowly but surely the older shinobi's voice was getting closer to the breaking point. Exiled. He hasn't answered my question. You haven't answered my question. The Uchiha spoke his mind. You were important to him. I came to find out why. Iruka was affected severely by the blonde's exile. He was holding on to the things that Naruto had held dearest to heart, one of them being Uchiha Sasuke. He wasn't sure why, though, this pale-faced brat meant so much to Naruto. Pondering the question, he came to actually look and try to interact with the Uchiha. But as seconds passed, he found it very hard to continue looking at the person who caused Naruto's demise calmly in the face. He was considering leaving when the Uchiha spoke. The verdict. He had the nerve. How dare he? The academy instructor thought furiously, his temper finally getting the better of him. You don't deserve him. Sasuke was taken aback by the amount of venom in his former sensei's voice. It would be a long time later when Sasuke realized that this gentle-looking man knew exactly how to keep a grudge, a very long grudge. Hokage's office, 5 years later. Tsunade, who was happily dreaming of retiring and gambling, woke up with a start when a gruff voice spoke her name urgently. Irritated that her heavenly dream was interrupted so unceremoniously, her first instinct was to punch the offender. A loud crash was heard when said offender was thrown into the wall. Opening her eyes groggily, she saw Jiraiya in her dented office wall. Smiling sheepishly, she gestured for him to sit down somewhere so she could check the damage she inflicted. The toad hermit tried to speak but she shrugged him off. Running a quick scan, she saw that he was okay, except for the fact that he would be sore for a while. So what brought you back here? You said you were going to Kiri to do some research. She was curious about the fact that he was back so quickly from his routine research. Usually he'd be gone for months. This time, however, he had only been gone for almost 2 weeks. They're attacking. I found out when I was in Kiri. I figured you would like to know, so I came back as quickly as possible. After a moment of stillness as she tried to absorb the incredulity-inspiring news, she said commandingly, okay. Details. Now. I'm not sure when yet. But my spies will be informing me of this soon, I believe. They, Akumo and Iwa. It seems an alliance, that we know nothing of, was formed recently. They're trying to invade Konoha, the Sennin explained. There have been more sightings of Iwa and Kumo ninjas in Hai no Kuni. Rumor has it that there were supposed to be more around, but somehow they've all been killed by a shinobi they nicknamed Kage no Tsurugi, she pondered. Kage no Tsurugi? He asked, raising an eyebrow questioningly. He's just a rumor. If he's from Konoha I would know, wouldn't I? She said, dismissing his questions, continuing with her own. So you are telling me we're going to have to defend Konoha from 2 nations? Her voice filled with trepidation. Yes, this is going to be tough with the lack of help from allies. Suna still refuses to send any form of military assistance due to the incident. We are going to need all the help we can get, Tsunade. Think you'll be able to persuade them? He said darkly. Suna, I don't think so. Gaara is not easy to persuade, you know. He is so, I dunno, loyal, thick-headed, she growled. I don't mean Suna, I meant the council. You could summon for the ninjas at the outposts, have them, all, come back. They would make a decent army, the male Sannin said in an offhanded voice, but his features were knotted into that of impish elation. Oh. Her eyes glazed over as she thought of the possibilities. Smirking mischievously at Jiraiya, who smirked back, she said with triumph, I'll see what I can do. Outpost 72. A rustle of paper could be heard as a tall black-haired man read a scroll that has just been delivered from Konoha. He then called for his assistant. Go get the patrol team back here now. We will all be leaving for Konoha in 3 hours. All. Everyone. The kid said, sounding ecstatic at the news. Yes all. Yes everyone. Now go get them back. Send any available team. Oh, and get Naruto in here now, he said while waving for the assistant to leave. Hi Osen. The kid yelled while scampering off quickly. The man gave a warning glare, but unfortunately the kid was gone by then. He read the scroll one more time before looking at the additional scroll that came with it. That is for Uzumaki Naruto. You are not to read it. It's confident. I know, there's no need to tell me that, Jo-chan, he said, not even looking up to acknowledge her. The girl shut up immediately at the nickname. She looked like she could handle herself. The two men that came with her, however, looked more intimidating. One was the well-known copy nin Kakashi and the other was the last Uchiha. He finally decided to stop examining the scroll, taking a glimpse at the trio that came to deliver the scroll. He recoiled from the glare that girl was giving him. If looks could kill, be 6 feet under, he thought. The copy nin simply looked amused by the display. The Uchiha, however, seems to have a disinterested look plastered permanently on his pale face. At least I think so. His facial expression has not changed the slightest ever since he arrived. He could rival Naruto if he didn't have that gleam in his eyes whenever I mentioned said blonde. He was thinking how he could pacify the girl when suddenly a brief knock accompanied by a low neutral voice interrupted him. Hiroshi-sama, you requested for my presence. I'm saved, he thought as he noticed the girl's attention have shifted towards the door. Come in, Naruto. I have something for you from Konoha. Keep Kenji out, I don't want him. Osen, you're evil. A yell from his assistant could be heard. Fine, let him in and forbid him from yelling, he sighed, defeated. Do not yell, Kenji, the blonde said as he opened the door and stepped into the room. Hi, Otu-chan. He abided while sticking out his tongue at Hiroshi. Team 7 was stunned by those words. Naruto has a son. They thought. That is not possible. That kid looked like he's at least 12. Naruto is only 21. He must be adopted or something, Sakura tried to reason with herself. Calming down, she started to notice certain things like the fact that those whiskers mark on Naruto's face were gone. There was a deep scar across his eye on the right side of his face going from the hairline to the side of his ear. His right eye is purple like the loud purple-haired kid. Except the blonde's eye was a little grayer compared to the kid's. Even his blue eye looked gray. His hair is much longer, held back in a braid with bangs hanging naturally around his lean face. He dressed like a normal chunin would, except if she was not mistaken he is still a genin. Snapping out of her thoughts, she realized Naruto was going to leave the room with a nervous-looking Kenji tagging along closely. Acting on an impulse, she stood up and called his name. Naruto. Yes, Haruno-san. He stopped walking and looked at her. Nothing, she stammered, taken aback by Naruto's indifferent voice and empty-looking cold eyes. I'll be leaving then, Haruno-san, he said with the same voice and started walking. He was stopped again, and this time it was by Kenji, who was tugging at his jacket. I want to be a ninja, the boy said in a small voice. No, but why, Otu-chan? You are a ninja. You even trained me. Why can't I be like you? The boy protested vehemently. No. But, no. This time there was a hint of emotion behind those words. No one could interpret it, but apparently Kenji could. He was looking at the blonde silently with his mouth hanging open, looking surprised. You will be staying in the nearby village, Naruto suddenly added. No way. I want to go to Konoha. You won't stop me. I don't care. I'll follow you and you can do nothing. He shouted his objections. Naruto just gave him a long silent glare and said, very well then, you can go to Konoha and be a ninja. However, you must start addressing me as Uzumaki and do not interact with me unless necessary. After a long silent moment, in which everyone was stunned, Kenji stated, you are disowning me. A pause and then, yes. With that, Naruto walked out of the room in an even pace, leaving 4 very dumbstruck people looking at the door in amazement. Hiroshi's office. You can stay here until we depart, Hiroshi offered as he steered a pale-looking, motionless Kenji out of the room. Thank you, Hiroshi-san. Kakashi took the liberty to answer as both his students are still unmoving, obviously caught in their own thoughts. After both of them left, he waited for his students to start the inevitable conversation. Getting impatient with their seemingly frozen state, he cleared his tea loudly, snapping both of them back to reality. He's different, Sakura started, it's like that guy we just saw isn't him. Does that make sense? Yes it does, Sasuke replied. And it's all my fault, he added quietly to himself. I didn't get the chance to apologize. I should do it now. She suddenly stood up and moved to the door. Sasuke looked at her suspiciously. Apologize. She did nothing. I was the one who. Why is she so intent on apologizing? What for? he asked before he could stop himself. The Kunoichi looked at him for a moment before she spoke. I said things, when we found you half-s, with Naruto standing over you. Things I shouldn't have. I didn't even fancy you anymore at that time. You were a real B trying to K us, and your obsession with K your brother is insane. Even worst was you seek help from others to aid you in your vengeance. Naruto and I would have gladly helped you, and you ran off to that snake B. In fact, I think I started to like. She stopped short, realizing her rant had gone too far. The two men were looking at her with eyes the size of dinner plates. She's insulting me, the Raven thought in disbelief. She's insulting Sasuke, and, damn, she almost confessed. Like who? Kakashi asked, determined to find out. It's none of your business, she said hotly before rushing out, presumably to find Naruto. She insulted me, Sasuke said suddenly. He's shocked. The Junin snickered. You'll get used to it. He grinned under his mask while pulling out an orange-colored book. Pushing thoughts of Sakura out of his mind, the Raven's thoughts drifted on Naruto. I should apologize too, he sighed. The things she said couldn't be worse compared to what I said. The copy nin didn't look up from his book, but it was obvious he was listening. He waited for Sasuke to continue, but when the Raven didn't, he was compelled to ask, what happened? It's a long story, the younger man said, trying to escape the confession. We have 3 hours, Kakashi coerced the stoic Raven. Fine, he said and started the tale. Flashback. Sasuke. Stop running, you coward, Naruto shouted as he sprinted after his rival. Who says I'm running, Dobe? We will fight away from the others. It is time I prove that I am stronger than you, Sasuke said as he stopped abruptly in a small clearing, whipping out kunais and throwing them toward the blonde, aiming for his vitals. We can prove that in a spar, after you come back with us to Konoha team. He disappeared in a puff of smoke when the kunais hit him, indicating that Naruto just now was just a cage bunshin. I will not come back, Dobe, there's nothing left waiting for me there. Besides, you are going to S in my hands today, Demon Fox. That alone will prove my strength, the Raven said as he tried to sense the location of the demon vessel. Still aiming to K me, I will not be caught off guard this time, team. I have grown stronger and I will prove it. I will drag you home half-s if necessary. 5 Narutos appeared out of nowhere suddenly, rushing at Sasuke each with a kunai in hand. Also, Sakura-chan is waiting for you, the blonde added in a quiet tone. Ah, you still like her. Pity, she prefers me over you, the Raven sneered, trying to get a rise out of the blonde. Pulling out his chokuto, he s at the clones, destroying 2 of them. He then tried to see the third, but his chokuto clashed against the blonde's kunai. A well-placed kick to the abdomen sent Sasuke flying through the air. Catching himself as he landed, the Raven went through several hand seals, releasing the cursed seal. Black marking spread from the seal on his shoulder, covering the rest of his body. Naruto dashed towards Sasuke, red eyes glowing dangerously. The Raven smirked in triumph. He succeeded in his plan. The blonde had little control over his emotions, and Sasuke was using it as an advantage. Words were no longer thrown at each other. Instead, both are trying their best to mortally wound the other. Long gashes appeared when the older boy occasionally landed a blow. Clones could be seen littered around, and claw-mark wounds marked the Raven's pale skin. So you are just a monster. Look at yourself, Bakemono. You look like a small version of Kyuubi. Naruto visibly flinched at that comment. Finally seeing his chance, Sasuke flashed through familiar hand seals, forming a Chidori in his hand. Sprinting towards a dazed blonde with the Chidori aimed at his rival's heart, he caught Naruto's blank gaze as he felt his hand going through flesh and bones. He let out a curse when he realized he missed the blonde's heart again. A small part of his mind told him he could have stopped you, but he didn't. Not wanting to feel guilty, he pushed that thought away, looking into the blonde's eyes. If I s, would you come back? Naruto said in a raspy voice. You're s anyway. What difference would it make? The Raven scoffed at his rival's stubbornness. I could s happy knowing I fulfilled my promise to Sakura-chan. B trickled out of his mouth. You still think she'll love you? Stop trying to fool yourself, Yujiro Tonkachi. You know that will never happen. You're the Kyuubi's vessel, remember, no one will ever acknowledge you. Give it up. Stop your foolish dream of becoming the Hokage. Konoha will never allow a Jinchuriki to become their Hokage. You are but a tool to them, Dobe, and that is all you will ever be. Pulling his hand roughly out of his rival's sea, squelching sounds echoed in the forest air. You're wrong, they will acknowledge me someday, the S-boy protested feebly. I'm right and you know it, Dobe, he said slowly, as if willing the blonde to believe it. Deep inside, however, the raven was regretting his words already. He stood there for ages looking at the blonde as he slowly bled to death. Finally, when the blonde stopped breathing, he bent down to check his pulse. Finding none, he was about to stand up when suddenly a burst of red chakra caught him off guard, sending him flying through the trees. The last thing he saw before he blacked out was a demonic-looking fox-like creature staring at him with dull blue eyes. End flashback. Kakashi didn't interrupt throughout the story, giving the raven a chance to pour out everything he has kept inside for 5 years. The raven looked up from the floor he was staring at, hoping to see some positive sign from his sensei. You should talk to him, was all the copy nin said before returning his attention to his orange-colored book. Naruto's quarters. Naruto was busy packing when he suddenly sensed Sakura's arrival. Moments later, gentle knocks could be heard. He abandoned his packing and proceeded to greet his guest. Hi Naruto, she said nervously. The blonde said nothing but gestured for her to come in. Closing the door, he said politely, noticing her discomfort. Haruno-san, what brings you here? We need to talk, she blurted out, then hastily adding, about Kenji. There is nothing to discuss about that matter. He is free to do what he wants as long as he fulfills my request, he inferred as he headed towards the kitchenette and started making tea. It seems a little cruel to just abandon him. He is your son, isn't he, Naruto? She looked around his small apartment. It was very different from his last one. Firstly, there was not a ramen cup in sight. She doubted their existence in his kitchen either. The place looked almost empty except for a bookshelf full of scrolls and weapons. Other than that, he seemed to have no other personal belongings. There were 3 doors. One she assumed led to the bathroom. The other 2 must have been the doors to rooms. 2 rooms. He lives with Kenji, she deduced. In a way, yes, he replied, bringing he back to reality. What do you mean, in a way? He was entrusted in my care by his mother. That means I'm his caretaker, not his father. He insisted on calling me Otu-chan. I let him. That is all, the blonde clarified. The Kunoichi was dazed. He sounds like he doesn't even care. Actually, he sounds like that all the time. Apologize. I know, I'm waiting for the right time. This is the right time. Do you always change sides so easily? You were against him last time. I'm your alter ego, I'm against you. Go away. Let me think peacefully. She pushed in a Sakura into the back of her mind. Haruno-san. Tea is ready. He handed her a teacup. Ah, thank you, she said distractedly, taking the teacup as she tried to think of a way to start apologizing. Naruto, you know before you left I said things, she struggled. Things I shouldn't have said. I'm sorry. I was going to apologize on the way back to Konoha but you got apprehended and I didn't get the chance, she continued looking anywhere except at Naruto, waiting for the blonde to reply. When he didn't reply she was forced to look up from her teacup. His eyes, which were staring at her, were like glass, unresponsive and empty. Her reflection seemed so terribly clear in those almost grayish orbs, she cringed at the sight of them. There is no need to apologize. I have taken no offense to what you have said. Besides, it happened 5 years ago, an icy voice spoke, sending chills down her spine. He hasn't forgiven me. Thank you, she replied. If you would excuse me, I still need to pack, he said, dismissing her. Okay, I'll be leaving then. She hesitated for a moment before she added, about Kenji. Do you think you could take back your request? Only if he does not step foot in Konoha. No other way. No, he said with a tone of finality. Goodbye then. Thanks for tea, she said, giving up. She then stood up and strode to the door. You're welcome. He closed the door behind her as she walked away, with a soft click. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.